Hello and welcome to another Pulsefire gaming video. Today we are taking a look at the Imperial-II class frigate just offered by Onil Creations. He allowed his patrons to vote on this ship prior to its release, and it was released very recently on Thingiverse. If you have your own 3D printer, feel free to follow the link in the description and download it from Thingiverse. However, if you're looking for 3D prints, allow us to handle that for you, as we are a licensed printer for Onil Creations. A little bit about the Onil Creations Imperial-II class frigate is it was a small vessel designed by the Kuat Drive Yards and built by Kuat Drive Yards, and it has a bearing resemblance to the Acclimator frigate, which was designed by the KDY subsidiary Rothana. It is much smaller than the Acclimator at 400 meters, and it was designed primarily to patrol areas where the Empire didn't have a very large or very strong need to deploy heavier ships, or in areas that were remote enough to not need that. The assembly of these guys is pretty straightforward. We have three variants. This is the A variant, which has hangars on both sides. This is the B variant. The B variant has the normal hangar on one side, and the C variant has hangar on one side and then armed areas, more reinforced areas on the left side. So let's put these together and get going. I've got to say, being a longtime fan of Onil Creations, they really hit it out of the park with this one. The design is magnificent. The supports, which is something we've complained about in the past, are phenomenal and way better than basically anything else that he's produced in the past as far as pre-supported ships. And the detailing is just magnificent. We did, and I shouldn't have, but we did use our own supporting on the armada keyhole, because in the past the supports that they've put on theirs have been kind of ridiculous. But now that I saw that the supports on the ships were great, we should probably go back and do that. So it's 4 parts. It's really simple. You're seeing it on the screen right now. You have the engine section that is printed separately. You have that is not all that great. You have the bridge section that slides into the engine section. I don't even think it needs glue, because the way that it's put together, once the engine section and the main hull are put together, you can't really get it out. But I glued it in just because I don't want it loose. Then you have the keyhole on the bottom. Look at the detailing. Look at the paneling on this. He did such a good job at this. I'm so glad that he put out the ship, because it's one of my favorite ships. It was seen, I think, first in the comics, but it's made its way to Star Wars lore through comic books and video games, mods. It's available for several of the Star Wars Empire War mods if you are interested in those. It's just a fantastic ship. So that is the A variant done. And these are, this is just a little bit longer than the Acclimator, but it fits in that same role, I think, that you would see a Gladiator in, even though it's much smaller. But it's a very, very keen ship, very fun design. So there's the A. Let's assemble the B. We're gonna do the same thing. So you take your engine, you take your bridge, apply a tiny dab of super glue into the little channel here, slide in your bridge section with the pointy end going towards the tail. Apply a little bit of super glue so that the engine section, once sitting flush into the main hull, sits and chemically binds to it. It's not plastic glue, and resin isn't plastic, so it won't like become one piece if you're using super glue, but it'll be adhered together. And let's see how this one sets a little better with the armada keyhole. I wonder why that's not sitting as good. For this one, we're just going to chip this off real quick, hopefully without cutting ourselves. And apply super glue directly to this. I wonder when I was curing this or post-processing this, if it had a problem with resin getting in that hole and then not getting out before it was cured. We printed all 3 of these at once on an Elegoo Saturn using the pre-supported files. We used SirayaTech gray fast resin to print it. And we like that resin because it's not terribly expensive, but at the same time we get very good results on the Saturn. The Saturn is a mono printer, so it doesn't take very long to print these. I think it took 7 hours at 0.05, and we don't have any kind of crazy vroom settings. Yeah, the holes print upright. The engine sections print with the tail facing upwards, and you know, we didn't have any failures on the build plate, which is good. Especially when you have pre-supported files, you don't want any of that stuff. You want nice, easy to print things. And Onil Creations traditionally is that. We've had a few problems, and that we might attribute that to our own printer, because, you know, we're always, if you've watched the stuff on our channel, we're always kind of ghetto fantastic with our printing and our assembling. But all in all, very happy. If you've got a few extra bucks and you want to support Onil Creations, they consistently churn out utterly fantastic, very well detailed products. And they release a lot of them for free, kind of like Miguel Zavala does for D&D. Onil Creations is, I think, an asset to the Star Wars fleet scale vessel community. Man, these are just fantastic. I can't wait to get these printed up, or not printed up, but painted up, because the year is 2022 and we are supposed to be painting things more. We've actually got a fleet from BW Reynolds that's on our painting table right now, getting base painted, and then we'll show those in an upcoming video. Well, in any case, that was the Imperial-II class frigate, also known as the Class II frigate, from Onil Creations. And if you like this video, feel free to like it. If you have any comments regarding anything you see here or on the channel, feel free to leave them in the doobly section down below. And lastly, subscribe if you want to see future content from us. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.